Well, beloved One Direction star Liam Payne has been farewelled by family, friends and former bandmates at a private funeral service in England.
For more, we're joined by entertainment editor Peter Ford. Pete, there were some emotional scenes this morning.
Yes, and look, thankfully it's happened. 5 weeks down the track, you can just imagine that long, impossible wait for his parents to have this day before you can even begin to have some closure and begin to move forward. And indeed for his girlfriend Kate, who was there, and obviously it's been going through her mind, I'm sure, that had she not left some days before, had she stayed around with him, things might have played out differently. All of these thoughts will be going through people's minds. The media were there. I might add, the media were entitled to be there, and the family agreed that the media should be there and film it, obviously in a restricted area, and everyone seems to have behaved themselves. We know that the British tabloids can really go rogue at times, but it does seem they've done the right thing. The money shot, to be honest, that the paparazzi really wanted was the shot of the 4 remaining One Direction members. They didn't actually get that. But for all those people there, you know, it clearly was a day of great distress, but hopefully now they will all be able to move on and try and process it. And, you know, no parents should be going to a child's funeral, their child's funeral, and no 7-year-old boy should be knowing that his father is no longer around. So it continues to be a very, very sad story, but obviously a very significant step forward for the funeral to have now taken place.
Yeah, heartbreak. I'm glad you mentioned that about the media, because I did wonder, it did look very restrained and respectful, but glad to know that the family had a say in how all that was managed. And they've obviously done that for the fans, so the fans got to say farewell to someone who they really loved. So I'm glad that the media obviously worked hand in hand there with the family's permission. I think that's important.
And I think Simon Cowell probably advised them to do it. I mean, it's very easy and probably would have been their preference to say no media at all, strictly private.
They don't owe anybody anything.
Exactly, But realistically, you know, the reality is, even if you say, no, we don't want media there, you know the rogue element will still turn up anyway.
Which ends up horribly anyway.
Exactly,
and the dad had been so beautiful with the fans in Spain.
Yeah, he was.
Remember he went out and greeted them? So I'm glad all that
it went well.
Went peacefully, as it should.
Moving on, and 3 years after tragedy struck on the set of Rust, the film has had its world premiere.
Yeah, so mixed feelings about this from me, as I'm sure everybody involved. I mean, so we know the backstory to this, the death of Helena Hutchins. 3 years ago, Alec Baldwin was behind the gun. It's played out constantly, and here you see here, this is a Polish film festival where it's now had its premiere. Alec Baldwin was not there. I'm sure Alec Baldwin probably just would love the movie never to be released and it could become a forgotten chapter. There are still ongoing legal proceedings against him. Even Helena Hutchins's mother didn't attend. She doesn't believe there has been justice for her daughter's death, and she doesn't believe the movie, certainly at this point in time, should be being released. But the people who are involved are saying they're doing it as a tribute to Helena and her work, and this could have been her really big breakthrough project to take her to the next level. I don't know if anyone's going to go to this movie. There's no distributor yet. It all feels kind of ghoulish, but nonetheless, it's happened. This is a grab from a lady called Rachel, who is a friend of the late Helena, and she obviously was there supporting it and the premiere. Have a look.
This was a courageous act.
So she's very eloquent, but as I say, Helena's mother doesn't agree with it at all.
Nicole Kidman has given a fun interview.
Yeah, Nicole was in a good mood. This was at the, well, she almost is always in a good mood, a cheeky mood, I should say. She was at the GQ Men of the Year Awards, and of course she got the cover of GQ magazine, even though it was the Men of the Year Awards. And in this interview, we get to learn about one of her favourite treats to eat, and certainly her love of a certain type of party. Have a look at this. So when she's next in Australia, look out at your drive-through in case she's going through to order a dozen chicken nuggets.
I'll bump into her at the rave, where I also frequent.
Go Nick on the DF.